Hi, my name's Colin McMahon. 9 years ago, I fulfilled a lifelong dream and opened my comic book store, Pittsburgh Comics. Since then, it's been great. I've met lots of great people, I've read lots of great books, and I want to share that with you. Welcome to Comics Now. Hey everybody, welcome to Comics Now for October 2016. Now fall is here. There's a little chill in the air. It's my favorite time of year. Marching bands, football games, and even more for me is my kids are back in school, so my schedule gets back to a little sense of normalcy where I can make plans and do certain things, like filming this show without worrying about what the kids are doing. So there's also tons of stuff going on comic-wise. At the end of the month around Halloween, we have Halloween Comic Fest, where I'm going to have bunches of free books to give away. We'll have costume contests, all sorts of fun stuff with that. Then coming up in November, but having to prepare for it now, we have Local Comic Shop Day, which this year is going to be the Saturday before Thanksgiving, where we have a bunch of unique items and things that to sell you that you can't get anywhere else. Variant covers, hardcovers, even a statue this year. So very exciting with that. And then we get into the whole Christmas season, which is always fun and crazy for retail. Also, tons of stuff going on comic-related wise, and that's what I'm here to tell you about. Starting off with Marvel. Marvel is using October as their big springboard to bring out a bunch of new number ones that's going to continue through the rest of the year. Now, one little caveat. This is all supposed to be springing out of the end of their big summer event, Civil War II. Unfortunately, Civil War II has been continued. They added an issue and they missed a month, so it's not actually going to be finishing up until at the earliest late December, I'm guessing probably into January. So, just a little warning there, some of these books are post-Civil War books that are coming out before the actual end of Civil War. So let's get started there. Their big one, which ships the first week of October, is Champions #1. This is kind of their flagship book that they're launching with. We're having a big, well not a big, but we're having a Champions party where we'll be selling Champions. But that's what's coming up. It's Champions #1 by Mark Waid and Humberto Ramos. Basically the description: following the fallout of Civil War II, Avengers Ms. Marvel, Nova, and Spider-Man strike out on their own. Joined by Cyclops, Viv Vision, and the totally awesome Hulk, 6 young heroes determined to change the world, and they're only just beginning. So that's the start of Champions. You'll see a little more Champions later on. Then we have the big Spider-Man event is starting, which is Clone Conspiracy. They've been touting this Dead No More, where characters are coming back from the dead, and kind of a redoing of the clone story from years back, with the Jackal is now cloning people. So start this. So this is Dan Slott and Jim Chung. The Jackal is back and has conquered death. The amazing Spider-Man is outmatched by his classic enemy's army. Does the wall crawler stand a chance? Should he stand in the way of the Jackal's way if he's found the key to eternal life? Read and find out. Now there are a couple books tying in with this. The Silk issues are going to be tying into this, but also a new book, Prowler, is tying into this. Even a superhero's life can get boring. Double check your gear, patrol the city, save the innocent, report back to your boss, the Jackal. Wait, what? Why is the Prowler working for the Jackal? What does the resurrected Madam Web have to do with him? And what has Prowler already done that may have compromised him? So we're leading into that. Also, Iron Man is getting some changes. I don't know if you've seen on the news, but there's a new character named Riri Williams, who's a 15-year-old girl who has created her own army. And due to the events of Civil War II, Tony Stark is no longer in the picture. So Riri Williams is going to be taking over the new Iron Man #1. That's not till November, but starting in October we have the infamous Iron Man #1. This is a case where Dr. Doom is now wearing the armor. There's a new Iron Man in town, and his name is Victor Von Doom. The greatest villain of the Marvel Universe will try something new. Where Tony Stark failed, Doom will succeed. What's Doom's master plan? So, interesting. One thing that was pitched to me by another retailer that I didn't really think about, if you're a big Fantastic Four fan, there hasn't been a Fantastic Four book in a while, this might be your Fantastic Four book. Gives us a chance. Dr. Doom trying to be a hero. We'll see if that works. Or is he really being a hero? Read and find out. Also new Avengers books, Great Lakes Avengers. This is more of a comedy book. The Unstoppable Squirrel Girl first got her start in the Great Lakes Avengers. So all new, all different? No thank you. New things are bad and different things are scary. Instead, why not join everybody's least favorite superhero team, the Great Lakes Avengers, in their brand new, but not too brand new, ongoing series. Same old Great Lake Avengers. When the team gets reinstated as permanent members of the Avengers and uprooted to Detroit, the Great Lakes Avenger has one more shot at superhero glory, but can they answer the call? Also another one, Solo #1. This is spinning out of Deadpool and Mercs for Money, where he's basically a hitman. He's getting his own book, and it's written by Jerry Duggan, the writer of Deadpool. So the one-man war and terror will get the job done. That's right, James Bourne, a.k.a. Solo, is on his own, right where he belongs. Deadly alien weapons are making their way into the hands of ordinary thugs, and Solo is going undercover to locate the source. So a little, what do you call it, like Jason Bourne, crime, mystery, intrigue. We'll see where this one's going. In case you didn't hear, there's a new Doctor Strange movie coming out with Benedict Cumberbatch, and that's coming in November. So to, I don't want to say capitalize, but to kind of jump on that, we're getting a second Doctor Strange book, Doctor Strange Sorcerers Supreme. An ancient evil threatens to unravel the fabric of reality, and one Sorcerer Supreme may not be enough. Doctor Strange must unite past, present, and future Sorcerer Supremes to stem the coming darkness. Merlin, the Ancient One, Wiccan, and more. But Doctor Strange should watch his back. Not all of these sorcerers have his best interests in mind. And we're also getting a Doctor Strange Mystic Apprentice, which is kind of retelling his origin just in time for the movie. So if you're interested in the movie but don't know a lot about Doctor Strange, this is going to be a good book. Retelling his origin and also having reprints of his first appearance and his original origin from back in the 60s are going to be included in this issue. Jumping onto the Inhumans side of things, Mosaic #1 is coming. Mosaic is a new character that is supposed to have great repercussions in the Marvel Universe. It's a special oversized issue, this new #1. Basically, professional basketball player and world-renowned celebrity Morris Sackett gains extraordinary abilities at the grave cost of his own mortal body. Imbued with the ability to jump from person to person like a ghost, he controls the bodies and memories of those he inhabits. With his own body destroyed, the one-time superstar athlete must rely on others to survive. Also tying in with the TV thing, we have a new Jessica Jones book. I don't want to say spinning out of the TV show, but definitely jumping on the hype that the TV show got. She's back after a decade. A lot has changed in the Marvel Universe, and there are still many secrets hiding in the shadows. Secrets only a special woman like Jessica Jones can hope to uncover. Discover the haunting secrets from Jessica's past in this blistering new series. Alias Investigations is open for business. Also tying in, there's a new Cage book coming. Luke Cage just hit Netflix, and I think it crashed Netflix over the weekend. And this one is by Gennady Tartakovsky, who created Samurai Jack and Dexter's Laboratory, and he's been working on this for a while. It's a 4-issue miniseries, and that's shipping also in October. There's 2 Deadpool miniseries. Deadpool Back in Black #1. In Deadpool's Secret Wars, which put Deadpool into Secret Wars, the original Secret Wars, which actually happened before he was created, there was a scene where he actually was the first to get the alien costume before it went on to Peter Parker. And this story is basically what if Peter Parker rejected it and it went back to Deadpool. So it's hijinks with Deadpool as Venom. And then there's a second one, Deadpool Too Soon #1, where Deadpool is investigating the murder of Forbush Man, who's a long-standing Marvel character created way back in the 60s. And he's out there and he's got to act before other characters get killed. So another Deadpool miniseries. Now, another big one, kind of save this for the end because I'm tying a promotion into it, is Death of X #1. After Secret Wars, the entire Marvel Universe, or the storylines all jumped ahead 8 months. So everybody was changed and you didn't exactly know why. And in regards to that, Cyclops has been missing. A bunch of X characters have changed. The X-Men basically are out of the Marvel Universe, kind of in hiding. Death of X is here to explain what happened during those 8 months. It's written by Jeff Lemire and Charles Soule and Aaron Kuder, who they kind of snatched from DC, is doing the art on it. Description is, what happened 8 months ago that set the Inhumans and X-Men on a collision course? Find out here. The Inhumans travel to Japan, where one of the Terrigen clouds creates a shocking new Inhuman. The X-Men travel to Muir Island, where the second Terrigen cloud causes something truly terrible. When these two events collide, a war of catastrophic proportion explodes. So what I'm doing and tying in, because in November we're getting the big event, Inhumans versus X-Men. For October, all X-Men related graphic novels are going to be double points. I try to do something different every month, and this one's going to be X-Men. So anything that's X-Men related, could be Wolverine, Cyclops, miniseries, anything that, if you can convince me it's X-Men related, I'll give you double points on it. So Death of X is going to be it's a 4-part mini. The first 2 are coming in October to set the stage for what's coming up. So now DC, what's going on at DC? DC, most of their number ones have already come out, but they still have a lot of stuff coming. And on the heels of the very successful Doom Patrol that sold out, I think I have a couple copies left after ridiculous orders. We have some more coming from Young Animal. First one is Cave Carson Has a Cybernetic Eye. I know, just stay with me. It's an odd title, but it was a really neat book. Another one by Gerard Way. This one's drawn by Michael Avon Oeming, who did the Powers series. Cave Carson has done it all. Survived countless adventures below the Earth's surface, met the love of his life, and gotten a cybernetic eye. Somehow. After he and his wife Eileen sent their only daughter Chloe off to college, Cave was ready to become just another mundane member of the surface world. That is, until Eileen got sick. Newly widowed, Cave tries to piece his life together when a knock on the door of his secret underground lab pulls him back into a past that he and Eileen thought they had left buried deep within the Earth. Adding to his troubles, Cave must determine if his recent hallucinations and visions are the work of his mind or his mysterious cybernetic eye. Spoiler, it's the eye. Another one that's coming from Young Animals, Shade the Changing Girl. One of the first Vertigo books way back in the day was Shade the Changing Man, which was the story of Rack Shade in this insanity coat. And now, so basically, there's no such thing as a little bit of madness. Far away on the planet Meta, Loma's going nowhere fast. She's dropped out of school, dumped her boyfriend, and is bored out of her mind. She longs to feel things. That's where her idol, the lunatic poet Rack Shade, and his infamous madness coat come in. Loma steals the garment and makes a break across the galaxies to take up residence in a new body, Earth Girl Megan Boyer. Surely everything will be better on this passionate, primitive planet with a dash of madness on her side, and this human girl's easy life. Only now that she's here, Loma discovers being a teenage Earth girl comes with its own set of challenges, and Earth may not be everything she thought it would be. Megan Boyer was a bully whom everyone was glad was almost dead, and now Loma has to survive high school and navigate the consequences of the life she didn't live, with the ever-growing, uncontrollable madness at her side. Not to mention that there are people back on her homeworld who might just want Shade's coat back. So, a little bit of crazy, but that's fun, different. Some other new number ones. Batman Beyond number one. Dan Jurgens is writing this. Terry McGinnis is back as Batman, much to the delight of his family and friends. But is the original Joker really back as well? Inspired by the possible return of their role model, the Jokers have taken over an entire section of Gotham City and are determined to wreak havoc in the still rebuilding city. Teen Titans number one. Fun new book with Damian, Batman's son, leading the team. Damian Knows Best Part 1. Now that Damian has summoned the Teen Titans, the tyrannical teen reveals his master plan. But a great evil from Damian's past is lurking around the corner, ready to strike at the team's newest leader and destroy the Teen Titans before they even begin. Batman Monster Men has been a real quick story. It's going 3 issues in Batman, Nightwing, and Detective, and that's first 2 issues have come out for each book, I believe, and we're wrapping up in October. Also a couple new number ones. Midnighter and Apollo. These are 2 characters from the Authority run, written by Steve Orlando. You wanted it, you got it. 6 more issues of Midnighter Madness. Together again, after too long apart, Midnighter and Apollo take on subway pirates in Los Angeles and demons in Opal City. But their reunion is about to take a shocking turn and send them both on an epic journey beyond all belief. Dun, dun, dun. Also, Death of Hawkman, number 1. This was an interesting where they kind of fibbed to us. It was originally called Hawkman and Adam Strange. They didn't tell us Hawkman was dying. Something Hawkman kind of does. It's kind of his shtick, where he lives and dies and is reborn. And he was in the last season of DC's Legends of Tomorrow show. So that's coming from them. Also, Vigilante Southland. Vigilante's a story or a character well-rooted in DC's past. I think he started in the 80s. Donnie was feeling pretty settled in his cushy life. Even though his girlfriend was politically active, he never gave social justice or radical issues any time. So when Dory discovers something she shouldn't have and ends up dead, no one expects Donnie to be the guy to carry on her work. But that's exactly what he does, putting on a mask and taking it to the streets. Wonder Woman's 75th anniversary special is coming out. Wonder Woman 75. It's just nice big. I think it's like an $8 book all about Wonder Woman. So if you're a fan, look for that. He-Man Thundercats. Fans of 80s cartoons, can it get better than that? I mean, it could, but this sounds like a lot of fun. Lost Boys. Number 1 is coming. A return to the movie universe. If you loved Lost Boys, give this one a chance. Tim Seeley's writing it, who's done a great job with Hack Slash and Revival, and then he's also been on Nightwing. So, Dark Horse has a couple new ones. Spell on Wheels. Three young witches are robbed of their magical items, and they have to hit the road to track down the mysterious thief before he does any damage to or with their possessions. Anything, this is an all-female creative team with Kate Leth and Megan Levins. So there's been a lot of call out there for this kind of book, for this kind of creative team, and this kind of vision. So it's nice to see something like this come out. Totally different track. Call of Duty Zombies #1, because who doesn't want army guys killing zombies? IDW Revolution continues. That's going through now Transformers and a bunch of their other books. New Star Trek book is coming, Star Trek Boldly Go #1. Their 50th anniversary celebration continues with this all-new series following the adventures of Captain Kirk and the iconic crew. New worlds, new species, new ships, and a new danger unlike anything the Federation has encountered before. I think they kind of say that with every Star Trek series. A new Dirk Gently series, Salmon of Doubt #1. There's a TV show coming that they're in the process of making it, and this is brought to you by the executive producers of that show. Electric Sublime, one of those oddball ones. Art is anything you can get away with, destroy it all. Welcome to the Electric Sublime, where art history, madness, and expression meet a Pollock splatter of thrilling crime adventure. When a mysterious change in the composition of famous paintings begins poisoning the minds of its spectators, Margot Breslin, director of the Bureau of Artistic Integrity, must pull famed art detective Arthur Brett out of a mental institution and back into the insanity that sent him there in the first place. Now from Image, a couple real big books coming out. Reborn #1, this is a new Mark Miller book, and he's grabbed Greg Capullo away from Batman to do this book with him. Where do you go when you die? Not heaven or hell, somewhere else. Somewhere where you have to fight to survive. Somewhere the people from the past are waiting for you, the good and the bad. Also, Cannibal #1, this is Brian Buccellato. Is doing this one. He did a long run on Flash with Francis Manapul. From New York Times bestselling writer Brian Buccellato, Cannibal is about the denizens of a small Everglades town desperately trying to hold on to their everyday lives at the dawn of a cannibal pandemic. With no cure in sight, the region has become split over what to do with the victims. Though for Cash and Grady Hansen, the answer is simple: kill them. But all of that changes when the virus begins to infect people they love. Green Valley, this is a new one from Max Landis and Giuseppe Camuncoli. The Knights of Calodia are the finest in the land, but they've never faced a power like the one that resides in Green Valley. Romulus #1, this is by Brian Hill, who's doing Postal right now, and Eden's Fall, a new one. Our world isn't free. All of us, for generations, have lived under the secret control of the ancient order of Romulus. One young woman, raised by them, trained by them, betrayed by them, must push through her fear and take a stand against the silent evil that masters our world. There's also another one called Moonshine that's coming, and this is by the creative team from 100 Bullets. It's Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Risso. Aftershock is a new company that's been doing great with Rough Riders. They did a new one called Alters, which was very successful last month. They have a new one called Shipwreck, and this is from Warren Ellis and Phil Hester. Dr. Jonathan Shipwright, sole survivor of a very unusual and very secret shipwreck, doesn't know where he is. Seemingly trapped on an endless road in pursuit of a saboteur who holds the key to his salvation or doom. So, Spook House has a new one. Eric Powell, who's done The Goon and all sorts of stuff. It's a horror anthology for kids, which is always good to come out in October. Archie has a new one. Archie Meets the Ramones, so you get the Battle of the Bands. Black Mask has a very interesting one called Black. This one went through a Kickstarter. In a world that already hates and fears them, what if only black people had superpowers? After miraculously surviving being gunned down by police, a young man learns that he is part of the biggest lie in history. Now he must decide whether it's safer to keep it a secret or if the truth will set him free. And another one from Black Mask, who you know I really like these guys a lot. The Skeptics #1. A stylish political adventure about a pair of hip, clever teens who fool the world into believing they have superpowers. It's the 1960s. The Russians have the A-bomb, the H-bomb, and now the most terrifying weapon of all, a pair of psychically powered young people. Terrified and desperate, the U.S. top brass scours from coast to coast in search of psychic Americans. Enter Dr. Isabel Santa Clara, an eccentric illusionist and grifter who has recruited two teenagers and trained them to trick the U.S. government, the Russians, and the whole world into believing they are dangerous psychics. Boom Studios, couple new ones. Big Trouble in Little China meets Escape from New York. So you get those two characters together for a mini-series. Also, Warlords of Appalachia. Southern Bastards meets Dune in mid-21st century America. After the new Confederacy is crushed in a second civil war, only Kentucky holds out, not recognizing U.S. sovereignty. This leads to a particularly brutal crackdown in a small mountain town called Red Rock, where mechanic and reluctant folk hero named Cade Mercer rises up to become the first feudal warlord of Appalachia. Also, Dynamite Entertainment is doing a new Kiss book. If there's a ton of covers, look online. There's one for each character and a whole bunch of stuff. Pretty much just ordered one of each, so if there's a certain cover you want or you want them all, let me know early. James Bond Hammerhead. Andy Diggle of Guardians of the Galaxy fame is doing a second James Bond book. Army of Darkness Xena, Forever and a Day. Scott Lobdell's writing an Army of Darkness Xena book that apparently is huge because they've been going on for a long time now. This is probably the 4th or 5th crossover between Army of Darkness and Xena. Betty Boop #1. Normally I'm like, Betty Boop, but it's Roger Langridge, who did great job with the Muppets. He did the Mighty Thor series with Chris Samney a while back. So he's on doing a Betty Boop book. Wolf Cop. Ever since hard-drinking local Woodhaven police officer Lou Garou had a late-night bender and stumbled into dark magic, his life has been turned upside down. Now he moonlights as Wolf Cop, a rage-fueled, bourbon-swilling, magnum-toting, rabid warrior for justice. Angel City, this is one coming from Oni Press. Introducing Angel City, a hard-boiled 1930s noir starring Dolores Dare, previous Hollywood hopeful and current enforcer of the Volante mob. When her best friend turns up dead in a dumpster behind the Chinese theater, Dolores starts her own investigation of the April Fool's killer. As she gets closer to the truth, the studios, the corrupt homicide division, and even her own gangland contacts work to cover up the scandal. Has she bitten off more than she can chew? Who doesn't love the old crime noir? And Titan Comics is feeding into this too. They've started doing a series of hard case crime books, which are like the old style pulp novels. Mickey Spillane, Sam Spade, that kind of stuff. They're doing 2. One's called Peepland, the other one's called Triggerland. I'm personally excited for these. They also have a Warhammer book coming out, Warhammer 4000 Will of Iron. If you're a fan of the, I guess it's miniature game, you'll probably like this. And then finally from Valiant, we have Bloodshot USA. This is Jeff Lemire and Doug Braithwaite. They always get great creators on Valiant stuff, which makes me very happy. Project Rising Spirit, America's greatest exporter of classified weapons technology, has achieved a breakthrough. Contagious airborne nanite dispersion prototype that can turn the population of any city into an army of indestructible soldiers. A doomsday virus capable of destroying an enemy nation from the inside out. A machine-made pathogen that can completely rewrite human physiology and hard-code every man, woman, and child with the same cutting-edge technology that created their greatest weapon, Bloodshot. So, see where that goes. Doesn't sound good for that city, at least. So that's the main stuff that's coming out, main #1s. Plus, all the other books are still continuing. Like I said, Spider-Man has the big story going. DC Comics are still going strong. So lots of stuff going on. So come on down. Lots to see, lots to read. I do have my X-Men double points. So if you have the reward card, you can get double points on any X-Men graphic novels. And that's about it for right now. So thanks for watching, and join us now for Comic Previews Theater. Thanks.
Hey, Ami! Kamala's taking the last piece of karahi.
Snooze, lose.
Let her be, Amir. Just enjoy that Kamala's been spending so much time with her family this week.
As it should be. Not so much on the go lately, daughter?
Johnny isn't nerve about fun. There's her school activities.
Ms. Marvel, are you alright? There are hundreds on that train.
I got it!
You call that a weapon? Ha!
This is a weapon.
So much for terrorist attack on the C train. 3 up, 3 down. Can we give you a hand?
I really do have it!
Superheroes. Yeah, right.
Take your fights out of our neighborhood, you lunatics!
I bet the people on the train are more grateful.
Aye.
Their anger is understandable. After what the world has been through, we may have to earn the public's trust anew.
We could start by fixing the train tracks. Who's up for that?
If we could.
If?
Stark's not here. None of us are engineers. Where would we get building supplies? And there are unions for that kind of...
That's what you always say.
I didn't know it was an issue with you.
Of course it is. Look at this damage. People's livelihoods. That food truck's not going to repair itself. Why am I the only one who wants to help?
That's not fair, kid.
No, it's not. I can't do this anymore.
Little one, wait! Did I just watch an Avenger quit?
Again?